Welcome you guys to another episode of Raising Starseeds. I'm Abby Lynn, and we're so sorry that Heidi can't join us today, but she's in the middle of doing life things, moving her home, but Zoe and I are going to take the reins, and I'm so excited to have this beautiful galactic sister on with us today. She owns Activations by Zoe on Etsy. She channels light language, speaks with our galactic brothers and sisters. So I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. This is like my favorite thing. This is my favorite thing.
It's fun when we get to talk about this. And, I really feel like talking to a colleague of mine, and it's so fun.
Oh, yeah. I've known you a bunch of times, I'm sure. It's very familiar. It's so cool. I love this.
Yes. So give us a quick little background, because this is kind of a newer thing for you, right? I mean, you really had a huge activation and opening.
Yeah, I know. Some people get the gradual incremental awakening. I get the just boom and done. Let's see. When did it happen? Last year. I would say like in the winter, maybe right after Thanksgiving. I had a dream. I used to not remember my dreams. Now I'm starting to remember a little bit more pieces of dreams. But I had I guess it wasn't even a dream. I guess it was an experience that I woke up from. I remembered every detail of it. I can still see it clear as day in my head because it was just like imprinted. And I woke up with the word Pleiadian and bright pink letters blaring in my head. I never seen that word. I never heard of that word before. And it was like in like these hot pink bubble letters, and it was just glowing in my head, like spelled properly and everything. So I was like, what is that, right? So I like Googled it, and then I fell down this rabbit hole of research that like sucked me in for 6 months of starseeds and star beings and exopolitics and like all of these, and then light language activations. And when I first heard light language, it was like my soul was like hungry for it, right? So I was just like YouTube video after YouTube video after you, like just like sucking up for a good while, I think, until I like couldn't take it anymore. I was like, I can't look at another light language activation, and I just stopped. I kind of slowed down. I think I had absorbed enough that whatever I was trying to supplement, and I one day when I was at my kitchen sink, I started speaking light language. I just started like while I was washing dishes, and it was like, and it felt so good. It felt like I was releasing something, and I felt like I was activating myself. So when I was having the dream, I was on a ship and I was being spoken to very sternly. Being kind of yelled at like by these two like 8-foot tall blue kind of silver skinned people. They looked very militant. It was a man who was talking to me, and he had like very militant robe on, and he was very stoic, and he had a very large head, like the ovalus head, and he had like a lot of adornments on, so it was hard to see his actual physical features, but I remember his facial expression, and I remember the energy. I was like getting yelled at. I was literally like I don't really remember the words, but the impression was made. And there was a woman behind him who was gorgeous, who looked just like him. And she was also very stoic. And the energy coming from her was just so loving and familiar. And it felt like my parents, right? It felt like I was like, now that I've had developed this relationship with them, I know that I was like, you need to get your act together. You need to wake up. What's taking so long? You are behind schedule. Like what, you're just piddling around doing like hatha yoga and playing with the baby. And there's like a whole mission that you're supposed to be doing. And then they were like, if you're not going to get it, we're just going to put this word in your head and you figure it out on your own. And so that's pretty much how it went down for me. And then I created an Etsy shop, and I don't know what led me to do that. That was all them. I don't even remember creating the shop. Like I made it, I think on my oldest son's birthday on January 29th. I made a listing for Starseed origin reports. I was like, if you feel like you're a Starseed, I can connect with your guides. They're going to give me an activation that's going to wake you up, allow you to access your memories, to expand your consciousness, to tap into your true essence. And I listed it for $3. And then like I forgot about it. And it was there for 3 months before anybody bought it. And then when somebody made the first purchase, I was like, what? Like, I was like looking at my phone, like, what is this? I made an Etsy listing? Like, when did I do that? And then it was just off to the races from there. And it's totally because that's what I'm here for. You know, that's like part of my mission. I just was missing the cues all the time. So I got a very direct experience of, let's go, Missy.
Let's go, Missy. Yeah. It's so funny with the star languages and the light languages is because so often, when you're working with somebody, they will, and it's the feeling of they just need to hear this, just say this, because in doing so, when it activates those pieces of the DNA, which I want to say have been sleeping.
Right. And it's so hard to explain to somebody, like, how does this work? Because we're just tapping into the power of sound and what sound can do. And if you're speaking anything that is from another dimension, like the alien technology that we work with and stuff, anything that's from a dimension that's outside of ours has this incredible impact on our dimension, right? So if you're speaking a language that's like 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 11th, 12th dimensional and the 3rd density, it creates this effect in people that is like, it's really hard to explain like why listening to something will change the trajectory of your life course. Like literally you can listen to an activation and your whole where you were going and your destiny will just like troop, and it'll go the other way. So but that's really like I'm sure you've seen that's really how it works. And
it is. I was doing a session recently, and we were in the brain, and they said it was getting images of like these pillars, and there was like these 3 pillars that were coming into the brain, and they said we need to bring in more space. And so all of this language was pouring out, but what the language was doing, it was like energetically talking with the matter of the brain to help to move it, to bring in more energy frequencies. And a lot of times, have you noticed, like when you're doing the light language, it's repetitive, like it'd be and you're doing this, and you can see that you're like putting in these foundations.
You're building something. You're removing things, or you're building something. I see exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, it's literally like code work. And if like the more you already know, I don't have to explain this stuff to you, but we're in like a numerical matrix that's built on sound, that's built on vibrations and frequencies. So it sounds like you're channeling like source codes. That sounds literally like.
Well, okay. So you're right, because as they were doing it, I always ask, where is this coming from? Who is this? And they said they were directly from source.
Yeah.
They were source. They call themselves the Source Collective. And when they did that, I literally saw hundreds of thousands of these just balls of light that have come from source, and they're doing this to all the humans on this planet right now.
Right. And do you see them in the sky? When you look at the sky, do you see them coming down?
I have it with my own eyes. There's only one time I was outside doing yoga, and when I look, every time I look up to the sky in a movement or a pose, the sky became filled with symbolism. Sacred geometry was in the
yes.
So I've seen that before, but in my waking,
when you get, so that's like, that's why yoga is so beautiful, because it kind of puts you into those places of like frequencies where you can all of a sudden remove veils and see kind of the behind the scenes of this illusion, and it's totally like the Matrix. It's just like streams of codes and glyphs and symbols and different like geometric structures that are pouring down and changing things, and there's oscillating waves, and sometimes they have a focus, and oftentimes like the ancient, I think there was a time where every hominid on this planet could see, especially like the indigenous people, right? Because if you look at the megalithic structures and all the things that we keep building cathedrals on top of, the pyramids and stuff like that, these are all like what are they called? Ley lines? I guess people call them ley lines. But to me, they look like these points where energy is just crisscrossing. And I feel like these ancient people use these like stone structures as antennas to kind of focus that energy right there. Because when I look at them, it's just like this hotbed of energy. And of course, they had to have seen the way that we see and the way that we're starting to feel to so strategically place these like huge things like that. And when you are channeling, you literally like become an antenna to it, right? You like open yourself up, and you can formulate it in a way that comes out of your sound, out of your mouth, out of your voice, and it translates to another human being, and all of a sudden they start feeling these shifts inside them. And it's so fast with light language. It's so like you can meditate for years and have the same effect that you would get if you listened to a light language activation, right? Light language like that.
Yeah, like that. Have they ever worked with you to do you ever get images when you're channeling it in, how to move the muscles in your throat in order to hit like certain notes or to say a word correctly? Have you?
I've never gotten like the muscular instruction. No, not so directly like that. There has been struggles sometimes when working with like not just light language, like not just channeling the pre-cerebral sounds of my higher self. And when I'm channeling certain beings, like their language, I can't say the stuff they're saying. Like I don't have the whatever's happening in their mouth. They have like 4 tongues or like different I don't know. I'm like, that's not gonna happen. Like, I can't get that word out. Or like a lot of times people ask me like the names of their guides, and I can't say it. Like I can't, it's a word that I literally can't get out of my human form. But we'll try.
Because it's a frequency a lot of times.
A lot of times it's just his tone. Yeah.
Yes. And then have you ever had one of those guides? They're kind of like they're expressing their name to you. And I want to say expressing because sometimes it is just an emotion. It's that frequency.
Right.
And you're trying to relate that. And then it's like they can just call me Theo.
Oh, all the time.
Just call me Lewis.
All the time. They roll their eyes at me. They get that exasperated, like they're not going to get it. They're not, don't even worry about it. Why do you need a name? I get that all the time. Why do you guys have to name everything? Like everything is everything. You guys need to stop naming stuff. Like that's, that's part of the problem. I think with people, when we talk about these like higher dimensional beings, we think that they're super noble and like they are, but they also have personalities, and some of them can be very sassy. And some of them can they get tired of us. They'll never give up on you, but they do get, frustrated.
So one of my sassiest ones ever was actually a Lyran. It was a Lyran.
Yeah.
Not happy that because it was his twin. It was his twin soul, and he was not happy that he had to talk through me to get messages to her. Not feeling pacing angrily up and down my kitchen table. I go, listen, dude, I'm
all you got.
Yeah.
I'm all you got. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. And it's hard because, they're talking with you telepathically. So you're literally feeling everything. And
right.
They can't hide it from you.
Yeah, you can't.
You're feeling how the agitation.
I know. It's like, I know I'm a stupid human. I'm like in this body that can't understand anything. I know. But like, also, I like working with the guides that have had Earth missions before because they're usually a little bit more compassionate. Like they know our struggle. They know what we're going through. They know we have like a harder time understanding what's going. They know we're like pummeled by like chemtrails and GMOs and conditioning and like telomere caps and freaking everything, is going against us. So some of them are a little more like patient and like they get it because they've done it before. But sometimes when you get like with the lyre and the regality of those people, they're like, why would I incarnate as a human? Like, why would I do that? I can help them from here. I don't need to be them, like they, when they communicate with us, they get irritated. It's frustrating. It's frustrating. And I think, but I also think those interactions allow them to really see on a face-to-face level why they're helping us, like how set up we've been, you know what I mean? Like this should be easy for me to communicate with you, but it's not.
Yeah.
Whew, I know. And I have I just like you with telepathic communities, a lot of people want to open up their abilities to be claircognizant and telepathic and all this stuff. And I'm like, if you live in a telepathic community, you cannot lie. You can't. No. You can't lie. You can't feel a way about somebody and like say a different thing to their face. That's why all of our guides are like, work on your heart center, work on your heart center. We go straight to the third eye, like, I want to see, right? And they're like, no, let's start here. Because if you're judging everybody and they, and then all of a sudden we open up your third eye and we're open to communication, they feel what you honestly feel about them, it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a hot mess.
Absolutely. Yes, it is. And yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of people, and I'm sure that you get this too, that ask the question, aren't you freaked out when you see them? Why weren't you scared? Or I'm like, because you feel them first.
Oh yeah. You feel them.
You feel them first. And so I've never been, and a lot of the time, some of the things that I do see, I mean, even just for me, obviously it's different for a client, but in my own life, I feel that relationship with them first. And it's like, oh, I have a best, like, oh, this is like, I know this energy coming in. How do I know this energy? And then it's like, wait, this is my really good friend. This is a best friend. This is a female. And then as you're feeling into that, and you're connecting, then it's like, then they appear and you. Mm-hmm. It's like they set that stage first, and it's like that slow introduction.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, then, I mean, I have had some where they're not, I don't have that relationship, and they've just been there. But even then I wasn't that scared, because again, it was like that instant feeling them, like, okay, they're not here to hurt me. They need to convey something.
Right. Yeah. And that, because your heart center is open, your heart center is wide open. And when you have that interaction with multidimensional beings, it allows you to have that interaction with your own fellow human, when you're like sitting next to somebody who you like put, I don't know, not at some point, if you're like, there's all these things that we like make up in our heads about people and how they're going to be and how they're going to act. And that we get fearful, or you just don't want to deal with it. But if you were just dealing with somebody on an energetic level first, and you're like, you feel the connection, you feel the unity, we're all on this same conscious plane, the same energy that animates you animates me, and then you see them, right? Then it's different. It's completely different. But we get to see you first. We've been so desensitized. We have like the sensitivity of like a dead person almost. We can't feel anything, so we are like logic of what this person is about and what this person is doing or what they look like, and we base our reactions on that. And a lot of our guides, if they feel any kind of fear within you, they'll back off. They don't want to deal with that at all. Like this, they've been so mislabeled
Mhm.
Right? They've been drugged through the dirt about who they are and what they came to do. So if they're approaching you and you start getting nervous, they're not gonna keep coming, right? But if they feel that you're tapping into a deeper level connection, you feel that you've been friends before, you felt that you like have maybe loved them before, you've been one of them before, then they'll show themselves to you. But if it's just like, I just want to see an alien because I want to see it's not gonna happen, it's not. That's why, all of this heart chakra, open your heart, it's so cliche at this point. Like we say it to death: raise your vibration, come from your heart center, drop into your heart space. But I don't think anybody's actually doing it.
I mean, I do feel a lot of people say like, oh, okay, you're just gonna say it needs to come through the heart again. Oh, I've heard that, just like you said, like I've heard it a million times. Well,
Yeah.
how do I actually do that?
Right.
And it's really actually hard
It is
to explain to someone how to do that, because it's a personal within slow evolution as to feeling.
right. And it's a trust, and it's it needs a certain amount of bravery.
Mhm.
Like you work with energy, everybody in North Carolina, North America, their heart centers are icy. It's like cold when I touch them. It's like frozen. Sometimes when I work with people from other places in the world, it's not like that. It's like a portal that's open, literally like a portal. But when in North America, it's very like cold as ice, because I think we're just like, that's too vulnerable. I don't want to feel too much. I don't know. And that it has its own problems that come with, the anxiety and the depression and everything that comes with that, because we don't have any connection to our heart. And we keep saying it, people like you and I keep saying you have to come from your heart space. And now it's, nobody wants to hear it anymore because everybody's saying it. And it's like become one of those things that you just like take for granted. Yeah, drop into your heart center. I heard you, blah, 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 blah. But what does that really mean on a practical level to face somebody from your heart and not your mind? I think blind people have a leg up on us with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, wouldn't you kind of agree, coming back to light language,
Oh
that
yeah.
that
Sorry.
no, I mean, I'm kind of like just bringing this back circle, that with light language, it is that trusting, because I don't know how, if it was for you, it's like before I started actively speaking it, I was feeling it, and I felt this like burble coming up, like this, like, again, it's
Yeah.
I say like a word vomit, but it was like, but I had to get to that place of trusting that, all right, I'm gonna open my mouth and just
Right.
let it flow. And
Yep.
it took me a little while to get to that space,
It's hard.
especially with other people, because if you just start speaking all this language, it's that, what are people going to, oh my God, they're gonna think I'm crazy. Like, what are people
Yeah.
gonna think when I'm in a session and all of this just starts coming out? But it has to come out.
Yeah.
And when you get into that trusting open heart space,
Man, there's nothing like it.
nothing like it.
There's nothing like it. I think even when I first started speaking like language, and it was like it was an impulse. It wasn't an impulse. It was like a compulsion, almost like it was just like coming out. I had no choice in the matter. I would still record it, and I never wanted to like hear myself saying it. Was like, it's too crazy. I don't want to listen to it. Right. But it's for other people. They can listen to it, but I don't want to listen to myself. And I also had all this doubt in myself. I was like, this doesn't work. Is this really working? And like when people were giving me their results and their reactions and all these crazy experiences they were having, I was like, it's still in my head, right? When I finally had this like one-on-one speak again with my Pleiadian guides, they were like, do you still think that this doesn't work? Like, you have like 3,000 people on Etsy telling you their experience, and you still think that it's like, it might not be real? And I was like, I guess so, on some level. And I finally had to get to that point where I was like, okay, I believe not in myself, but I believe in the fact that I have this gift.
Mhm.
And what that's really what it is. It's a gift if you're channeling codes that can drastically change people's lives. And I can offer it to people and give these higher levels of experience, a deeper level of a pleasurable existence on this planet, right? Then when you start looking at it like that and working with that love of yourself, because we have all this stuff is like, I'm not worthy enough to have like a superpower, like who am I to be able to have this? And we like discredit it and blah 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 blah. Yeah, I know.
There was
I know.
there was one moment that I was in that why, like, I don't want to say why me, but it was, I had a session and I had all of these different entity, like different realms coming in to offer assistance to come in and work. And when it was all said and done and I was just alone, I was moved to tears, not because, oh, I'm so lucky. It was, everybody should know, like, it's not fair. Like, every
Right.
single person should know that they have access to all of this. And this is the level of help that is available to them, just waiting. They're just all waiting to come in and assist us.
Yep.
And it was, the tears were, every single person should know this. Like, it is,
Exactly.
why is it like just me in like this one room doing it? No, like every single person should know that.
Right. That's why I made the activations $1. I was like, no way. Everybody should have access to this. Because how many people, have these amazing spiritual development classes or courses or workshops that are like $500, right? Like the people who are like suffering and poor and actually need this kind of help can't even afford it. It's stupid to me. So I'm like, if I have this kind of gift that can change somebody's life, I'm going to give it to them for as cheap as I can. I'll never, ever, ever try to keep that. I mean, we're all the same person. So if I'm raising your experience, I'm raising my experience at this point. There's no, yeah, I get what you're saying. It's just, it's like, Earth is a big slave ship. So we get a lot of forces against us that don't want us to know we have this connection. They don't want us to know that we have access to they don't want us to know that there's anybody else out there but us. Right? Don't reach out for help. There's only humans. Humans is the only thing that exists. There's nothing else out there. So just like keep going to work at Walmart and keep like staying at your miserable job and hating your kids and drink yourself to sleep and wake up and do it all over again. Right? Like, don't even think that there's anything trying to help you. Yeah. It sucks.
Well, and and the system is that they put in here is any type of help that you can get is always outside of you. Like if you're sick, you need to go to a doctor. If you need an education, you need to go to a school. If you need to talk with God, you need to go to church, or you need and everything is all within us. And just like you said, it's because we're all one, we're all the same people. I mean, yeah, we are talking about all these beings coming in to offer in healing, but it's still coming from within you, because those are versions of you that are coming in to help yourself. And
I'm so glad that you said that. I'm so glad that you said that. Your guides are you, literally, like the guiding forces that are coming into you. And I think like so many people get so nervous, and spirituality has been hijacked, and it's any kind of new age, anything has been just massively infiltrated by all of these distortions. But even the scary things, so many people are like, I don't want to tap into a different dimension because I don't want to, like, the negative entity attachment and stuff like that. Those things are also to help you. Like, you chose all of those things, and at your highest level, you chose to have all of these experiences of these things to lead you down a course, right? That is, you're supposed to win. They're not supposed to beat you. You picked all of this stuff to overcome them, not to hide from it, so it drives me nuts when I get you're channeling. How do you know what you're channeling? It's like, get out of here. You're not ready. You have a couple more incarnations, and then maybe you'll get it. Because I'm not going to spend days trying to convince you that I have something positive to give you. Right? Like, if you're still there, then they're like, but we get like slammed with that in our communities of like dark entities and negative this and reptilian templates and blah blah and J seals and this and everything is coming to get you, right? Instead of just knowing why am I being so heavily attacked, right? Like, let me think about this. Why is everything out to get me? Like, why is the government suppressing me? Why is my church suppressing me? What am I that needs to be so heavily suppressed? You must be a god, right? You must be a goddess. You must be something amazing that needs to be like so powerfully squished down. Don't realize what you are. Don't tell them what you can do, because then you'll rule the world. Right? If you realize this is a divine game of hide and seek, of God hiding itself and seeing it like in which ways you can find it, you're never gonna look inside. You're gonna look everywhere else. It's like, so we come to Earth to have these experiences and to learn. But it's kind of not fair now, because it feels like this reality has been hijacked by things that are taking advantage of the naivety of this plane, which is kind of necessary to have the experiences that we're supposed to have here, which is why there's people like you, and there's why there's people like me, and there's why there's literal aliens coming into hell. There's literally aliens coming into like hell, because it's too much. It's too much.
It's gone too far. It's
gone too far. Exactly.
Yes, absolutely. Right. Yes. And, to wrap up this first conversation, because we're going to have a series of conversations over the next couple of days that we're going to be bringing up. But really kind of the end thing is to remember, don't live in fear.
Ever. When fear nothing.
Yep. When you're in fear, then they're winning.
Right.
Yep. It's letting go. It's coming from that heart space.
Yep.
And knowing, just like you said, you are the light. We are all gods and goddesses here, and owning that. So
yeah.
Yes.
No fear. No fear. Absolutely.
Yes. So, all right. Well, I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for coming on today, Zoe. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.